Welcome to Reach Out, the program that highlights the amazing work carried out by local nonprofits, the wonderful people who lead these organizations, and the committed volunteers who give themselves but wind up receiving even more. I'm Bernadette Wagner, Director of Volunteer Washington County, and I'm extremely pleased to welcome two guests from the Maryland Symphony Orchestra. The Maryland Symphony Orchestra, which was founded in 1982 and performs in the historic Maryland Theater, has grown in reputation and influence and now draws audience members in addition to from Maryland, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and the Baltimore-Washington metropolitan area. Today's guests are two of the people responsible for that incredible growth. Elizabeth Schulze, music director, has been praised by critics as an ideal music director whose infectious energy is as contagious as her exuberant and thoroughly committed musicianship. The thing I most admire about Elizabeth Schulze is her incredible willingness to engage, educate, and empower the youth of our community, and her ability to share her love of music with them and tap their love of music, many times which they don't even know about. Our second guest, Mr. Michael Jones, is Executive Director and is responsible for managing the business aspects of the Maryland Symphony Orchestra, including marketing, fundraising, and grant procurement. I'm so pleased they could join us today. They'll be telling us about the Maryland Symphony Orchestra's upcoming season, its volunteer opportunities, and the numerous educational programs it offers. Welcome and thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
So why don't you just tell us a little bit about the Maryland Symphony Orchestra's your experience with the Maryland Symphony Orchestra, how long you've been there, what it means to you to be a part of this community.
Well, my goodness, this is my 15th year here. It's hard to believe. I love this community. I have felt welcomed from the first day I set foot in Washington County and fell in love with, I feel fortunate to live in one of the most beautiful places in the United States, in the world really. And the Symphony Orchestra has meant so much over the past 3 decades, 2 decades, 3 decades? How old are we now, Michael?
32.
32. So I can't believe it. You know, I've already been here 15 years, you know. I've watched it grow up, so I'm very excited to be part of that. The Symphony works year-round. We have several concerts that you might not see that are in the schools. About 60 of our concerts, how many? About 60 of our concerts are in the schools, and the rest are in the Maryland Theater. So you see just, I think, the tip of the iceberg of what we do in terms of reaching out to the community and making a difference in young people's lives.
Okay, Michael, do you want to tell us a little bit about your upcoming shows this season?
Sure, and I'm like, as with Elizabeth, it's been a real wonderful experience for me. I started in mid-May, and my wife and I have settled into Hagerstown very happily. And
welcome.
Thank you very much. It's been a delight working with Elizabeth. Look forward to many years to come of working together with her and this committee. I mean, this community and this wonderful, wonderful orchestra. And you know, Hagerstown isn't a huge city, and it's got a world-class orchestra in it. I mean, that's really something extraordinary.
Our programming ranges from pops to classical, and we started off with 3 finalists from American Idol, and now we're moving into 3 young, brilliant, classically trained garage band musicians who will join us for our upcoming concert in October. And that's
the Time for 3, is that right?
Time for 3, including Nick Kendall, who's been with us as a violin soloist and is an audience favorite. So he's bringing his 2 friends, part of Time for 3, to join us.
That reminds me of one of the things I wanted to ask you. Because you have such a diversity of music, I was wondering who gets to pick the shows and the artists? I mean, I'd like to be on that committee.
Okay. Well, we do have a committee, but a lot of the work is done from my experience and also Michael's experience. And we have the best time putting it all together.
I bet it's fun.
Yes. Right, it's a little bit financial, a little bit of what we'll sell, and a little bit of what we think that our various audiences, and we have many different audiences, will want the orchestra to play or what they would like to hear.
And I love that you do the Christmas program that is so inclusive of the community. I always think that's
one of the highlights of our season.
It really is fun. Well, I also know that from the youth concerts to free student tickets to high school vocal competitions, the orchestra has made a special effort to educate the next generation. You have a scholarship program. Can you tell us some of that and how that came to be?
Oh my goodness. Well, from the beginning of my tenure, I was devoted to expanding our educational outreach. At the time when I first came in, I think we did maybe one concert for kids, 1 or 2 concerts for kids, and that was it. From the very beginning, I worked with our board's education committee to start ensembles in the schools, mentoring, master classes. I take great pride in starting the free tickets for kids for our Masterworks and for our outside pops now as well. So we've expanded that. I think it's absolutely essential that children are exposed to the very best that we have to offer in our culture, whether it's popular song or classical symphony. And I love to be a part of that growth and that understanding.
That's great.
And yes, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to ask you if you could tell us a little bit about the volunteer opportunities that go along with putting on such enriching and educational shows.
Yeah, and I just want to echo what Elizabeth has said, that I think Elizabeth and I and the staff and the board leadership are deeply committed to ensuring that the Maryland Symphony is not just a musical organization, but that it is a community resource, that we help other and work with other nonprofits, with the Washington County school systems. I mean, we feel that you know, we have so much to offer above and beyond great music. But in terms of volunteers, we're always looking for volunteers. All you have to do is give me, Michael Jones, a call at the office, 797-4000, and I will enlist you. Okay. We are putting together a group probably called the Friends of the MSO, or the Maryland Symphony, and this is just a new project, and we're going to develop a volunteer corps, if you will.
That sounds great. I'd like to thank you and extend my appreciation to Elizabeth and Michael for taking time from their busy day to join us on Reach Out. And thank you, our viewing audience, for tuning in to today's program. Modest Mouse is an American alternative rock band formed in 1983, I think. And they said, music is to the soul what words are to the mind. And that's what I believe our Maryland Symphony Orchestra does for our community. Thank you for enriching us. I'm Bernadette Wagner. See you next time.